Alrighty, so today's video is going to be about investing. And I'm going to talk about something specific here. I'm going to talk about a couple of stocks that I invested in that I feel like I may have wasted some time, money, energy, and resources on. But I mean, at the end of the day, the way I like to look at it is it's a learning experience, number one. And number two, the fact that I'm investing and making these mistakes in my 20s, it's still putting me much further ahead of a lot of other people who are waiting until their 30s or 40s to start investing. So while this may not have been the best use of my money, it still taught me lessons and allowed me to learn things that are going to help me put myself in a position where I can hopefully gain financial freedom in the future. And again, no one's perfect. No one has 100% accuracy when it comes to the world of investing. And I've definitely made mistakes bigger than this in the past. Like, trust me, I've even messed around with penny stocks. We all think we can go ahead and pick the one penny stock that's going to make us rich. And normally it just ends up, costing us our investment. But nonetheless, let's get right into this. So two stocks that I feel like I wasted time and money on is number one, O. So ticker O. This is Realty Income. It's a REIT. So what a REIT is it's a real estate investment trust. And basically it's a company that's going to go ahead and invest in real estate, and then you can go ahead and buy the company's stock. So effectively, you're investing in real estate. So that's number one. Number two is actually SCHD. That's Charles Schwab's Dividend ETF. Now, before I say that this is just a terrible investment overall, that's not what I'm trying to say. I think this is a fantastic investment for the right person. Dividend investing can be great if you're looking for passive income. And if you are looking for a dividend ETF, I think SCHD is one of the best ones. But there are some important things to consider when it comes to investing in dividend ETFs or dividend stocks. And I'm going to go ahead and touch on that in this video. But just to clarify and kind of reiterate, the two stocks or investments, I guess I should say, that I feel like I wasted time and money on is SCHD and then O, which is Realty Income. So let's talk a little bit about O. I had O in my Roth IRA. And the reason I bought O is because, again, I wanted exposure to real estate. I didn't have the money to actually invest in real estate itself. It does take some capital to go ahead and do that. I did consider doing it when I first quit my job earlier on this year. I was considering buying a condo and possibly getting into, or even like a cheap house and possibly getting into like real estate investing, but there's just a lot that goes into it. And I felt like I didn't need that added stress because number one, I don't know enough about the business to comfortably invest a significant amount of money in it. But also there's a lot of costs that go into real estate. Like there's a lot that goes into that. It's not like you just buy a house and then someone moves in and they start paying you rent. Like there's insurance, there's maintenance, there's all these different taxes, there's all these different expenses that people, I feel like, don't think about when they get into real estate investing. So I think that's what kind of drove me away from it. Will I get into it in the future? Maybe, hopefully. But right now, I made the mature decision to kind of step back from that just because I felt like I wasn't in the right position to go ahead and do that. But getting back on the point, I didn't want to buy this in my brokerage account because the way the dividends are taxed on these REITs is different versus the way the dividends are taxed on, say, like a dividend ETF or a company that pays you a dividend, right? When you invest in SCHD, those dividends are called qualified dividends. So they're taxed at a lower rate. However, with REITs, they pay a large portion of their profits out as dividends. So it's actually taxed as ordinary income. So I felt like if I put it in my Roth IRA, I can kind of skirt around that and I wouldn't have to pay the taxes on that. But even with those dividends coming in, the capital gains that I was making on it was not really significant at all. So overall, I just felt like I could have put that money elsewhere into maybe Tesla or VOO or something else that I've had much better results and much better gains, even with those dividends that O was paying me. Um, so that's why I feel like it wasn't a great use of my money, and that's why I decided to sell it. So I'm no longer holding O. Moving on to SCHD. I had SCHD in my Roth and my brokerage. And as I mentioned, I really like SCHD. Like, it's a fantastic investment, in my opinion, if you're in the position where you want passive income. But for me, it just doesn't make sense right now. Like, if I was much older and I had a couple $1 million in an account and I was looking to bring in 40 or 50 grand, extra per year in qualified dividends, then it's a fantastic option. But I just don't have that type of capital now, and I feel like that money can be better invested in, again, like VOO or another broad market ETF, or even a company that I have high conviction in, like Tesla. And my returns from my other investments do outweigh what I've made with SCHD and O, even keeping in mind those dividends, right? Like, even if SCHD has had some capital gains over the past few years and all the dividends that it has paid me, the overall return that I've received from investing in VOO, it outweighs the return that I've gotten from SCHD and from Realty Income. So with all that being said, I decided to go ahead and sell my positions in both of these entirely. I got them out of my brokerage and my Roth IRA, and I plan on reallocating them to VOO. I just think it's a safer bet. It's a better return overall, at least historically speaking, as well as in my personal experience over the past few years. And I know anything can happen, right? If the market were to drastically drop next week, VOO is going to drop a lot more than SCHD would, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm in this for the long run, right? Like, I'm not thinking about the next few months. I'm thinking about the next few decades. And I think VOO is going to be a better option for me. So one thing I want to point out, and one thing that I think everyone can learn from this video, is it's okay to recognize your mistakes and learn from them, right? Just because you make a bad investment, or you make a poor decision, or maybe you missed out on some really good gains in one investment because you chose to go with another, it's okay. As long as you realize it and acknowledge it and learn from it and use it in the future to make better decisions, I don't consider that a loss. Like, you're learning something. So I think some people have too much pride to admit when they're wrong. And when that's the case, they tend to hold on to their losers way too long. Sometimes, man, you just got to cut ties, right? Or if you feel like, even if it's a winner, right, and you made some money on an investment, but you feel like you could do better moving forward by taking that money and investing it in something else, I think you should do it, right? At the end of the day, we're in this business to make money. Investing is about making money. So swallowing your pride, admitting you're wrong, and making an educated decision that is the best decision for your financial future, that's what you're going to want to do. Like, in my opinion, that's a mature investor. And nobody's perfect, right? We all make mistakes with investing, and with anything in life, at work, with our friends, relationships, friendships. Like, we make mistakes. It's okay. Just recognizing them and learning from them is the best way to handle them. If you make a mistake and you have too much pride to learn from it, you're just going to make the same mistake over and over again. So while you still may have your pride, in this instance, you're going to have less money. For me, I choose money over pride. I don't know. That's just me. For the most part, in this circumstance, I guess I should say. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Just wanted to kind of talk about sort of the updates in my portfolio, if you will, and why I made those updates. And I'm simplifying my portfolio a little bit. Like, I'm really trying to keep it simple and focusing on the things that I genuinely believe in. And, overall, VOO is my favorite investment. And, I do have a little exposure to crypto. And then Tesla, I'm a big Tesla guy. I've made videos about that before. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. Appreciate you checking in. As always, if you're new here, I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I post all kinds of content about, like, personal finance, life experiences, really anything I feel like talking about, man. I just throw it over some gameplay for you guys. I hope you can kind of learn from it, connect with it, whatever the case may be. So that's it. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.